Here are my steps 5 through 7 for the wind tunnel project. For step 5, I summarized each video. The first one is explaining how to measure the velocities, and it says to measure it in each corner and repeat it so that you get an average. And then this is explaining the airflow restriction. This is how to measure for the force and the velocity for the sphere, and then likewise for the cylinder and for the block, and these have 2 different profiles. Step 6 is to calculate the force of each profile from addition of air mass. So I calculated the force when given, or I had calculated the density, the air density. I had used the velocity of 7.2 for my calculations, and then calculated the area. So in my discussion group, we talked about whether or not to use this coefficient of drag. And as you can see here, I ended up not using it because I got a closer value when not using it. And I stuck to the equation used in the PowerPoint. So here is just an example of how I use the equation for that one velocity of 7.2. But then in my Excel, I repeated it for all velocities just so I didn't have to do all those hand calculations. And then I say here that the measured force was smaller than the calculated force for sphere and golf ball, and the measured force was greater than the calculated force for all of the profiles. And this was likely due to the fact that I wasn't using that coefficient of drag, or also just because it could have been my density was different because I was just assuming that. So that's why it was different than the force that was than that measured force. And then here are my graphs for the measured force versus the velocity. And I just used the Excel tool to automate the function of the graph, the linear function of the graph, so that I got these total, or all of these linear functions. And yeah, that's it.